Hello everyone, my name is Lynette Stevens and I hope that the idea I'm going to share with you tonight will encourage you to be creative and hopefully it will give you an idea of something you can do to help create a cozy home, because after all, that's why my page exists, is to encourage you guys to get creative and to create a cozy home. First things first, if you guys happen to see my live that I did a couple of nights ago on Friday night, I told you that I would be back with you the first part of the week with another idea for centerpiece. Well, I had planned on going live tomorrow night, but I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. Mr. Stevens and I have had a very busy weekend, and I am one tired gal. So my plan for tomorrow is to be pretty lazy. That means no hair fixed, no makeup on. So I decided that y'all probably don't want to see me looking like that. So I'm going to go live tonight instead of tomorrow night. So I apologize if that throws anybody off. But anyway, if you don't catch the live tonight, you can always catch it on the replay. So that said, the next thing I want to do, I also told you that I was going to go back and look at for someone who told their friends about my video. So I've gone back and looked, and I've actually selected a name to receive a little something from me, and that is Crystal Ladd Wilbur. So Crystal, I don't know if you're on yet, because you are always on my lives because you're so good to me. Girl, I'm going to be popping this in the mail to you. So it is a Bath and Body Works, a little travel set, the vanilla sugar, because I think this time of year, this is a perfect scent going into fall and winter months. So I'll be putting this in the mail to you. So what I need from you, Miss Crystal, is if you don't mind to send me a message, private message, with your mailing address so I can get that in the mail to you. I would say get it in the mail tomorrow, and I'm going to try, but girl, I'm going to be lazy tomorrow. So it may not go in the mail till Tuesday. But anyway, I'll get that out there to you. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And to Norma, I really appreciate you following my page a few days ago. And it's great to have you here. So thank you so much. All right, guys. I had a gal ask me on Friday for a couple of centerpiece ideas that are smaller and that aren't expensive. So I went back to my hoarder's room, otherwise known as my craft room, and looked around this afternoon and found a couple of other things that I can do. And it's another neutral based color idea, but just like I told you guys on Friday night, you can easily swap out what I'm doing and what I'm going to share with you for some traditional fall colored items just as easily. So it's going to be kind of neutral again tonight, and like I said, use your traditional colors if you want. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is, I don't know if you guys have seen, but at Dollar Tree, and I'm a huge fan of that place in case you can't tell, they have a bag of these little galvanized metal words, and I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see it, and I'm sure it's backwards, but this one says harvest. So there's 3 in the bag, and I think there's welcome, thankful, and harvest, and they're $1. So, you know, 34 cents for our harvest word that I'm going to be using tonight. So you can't beat that. So if you guys haven't seen these, you need to get to Dollar Tree because these are good. Not only for doing things like we're going to make a sign out of it tonight, but this is also good if you've just got maybe a wooden bowl or tray sitting on your table somewhere, and maybe you've got little miniature pumpkins in it or some sort of a fall potpourri. Just lay this word down inside of your arrangement, and just laying in there is going to automatically kind of dress up, you know, your little centerpiece or your bowl or tray or whatever you've got going on. So these are pretty handy to have. And then the next thing I did is went back out to Mr. Stevens' wood shop and picked up a piece of scrap wood. This is literally, as you guys can tell, kind of chewed up on the end. But for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know this is my favorite kind of board. I would rather have this and use this in my home as I had a brand new board, because you automatically get some character and instant charm because our board's not perfect. So if you can find an old beat up, chewed up looking board, I'm going to encourage you to use that because I think it automatically gives you a plus because it's not pristine and perfect. So we're going to use that as the base for our little sign. And then I picked this lighter color of burlap out of my stash. And my idea is that we will, and I'm going to walk you guys through kind of how I'm going to decide how big to make the burlap, but I'm going to use Mod Podge and Mod Podge the burlap onto the wood, and then we'll use hot glue to glue our harvest sign on, and then that's going to be one of the things that we're going to use to create our centerpiece tonight. So first thing I want to do is, it's kind of funny because the piece of burlap that my sweet daughter-in-law happened to give me her stash of burlap, and this was a scrap piece that was in there, and it really kind of fits perfect on my wood, but I want more of the wood to show because I think it just kind of frames out the burlap a little more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay my harvest sign down on my piece of burlap, and I'm going to have maybe, I don't know, 1/4 to 1/2 inch of my burlap, make my burlap that much wider than my little harvest word. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick something here, and I'm going to cut and trim my burlap down a little bit, okay? And that is so when I put it on the board, we still especially get the favorite part of my board still showing. So that's what I'm going to do there, and then I'm going to do the same thing to cut across the bottom, okay? So we're going to take this and kind of make a decision on, I guess I better make sure that I'm going to have it be at least as tall as what our harvest word is. And again, guys, I'm doing this kind of like you guys see me do a lot of things. You notice I'm not doing any serious measuring. I'm just cutting, and if it's not perfectly straight, which obviously it's not, I'll just trim it up a little bit, okay? But if this makes you nervous, by all means, you can get out, you know, a cutting mat or just a simple ruler, yardstick, whatever, to do your measuring and cutting if that makes you more comfortable. But most of the time, I just fly by the seat of my pants. So, but you don't have to do that if that makes you nervous. If it makes you nervous, measure it. And then the next thing you're seeing me do here, I'm going to turn this around where you guys can see. You see this little bit of frayed across the top and down this one side? I really like that. I think once again, it kind of adds just a little bit of a rustic touch to our sign, and that's the look I'm going for. So what I'm doing is I'm just pulling threads out of our burlap, just pulling a couple of the strings there, so that we can get that nice little frayed look around all 4 corners. Okay, so now I am happy with the way that looks. So the next thing I'm going to do is apply my Mod Podge. And guys, for something like this, you can apply it to the back of your burlap, but you guys, hang on just a second. I've got a message popped up on my phone and it's bugging me. Sorry about that. You could apply your Mod Podge to the back of the burlap, but honestly, I would just prefer to put it directly on the wood because the burlap is kind of porous and it would make quite the mess. So I am just going to put it on the board. And you guys, if you followed me for a while and you've seen me use Mod Podge, you know I tell you time and time again, anytime you're using Mod Podge, to make sure you get enough on. You're going to get bubbles and wrinkles and a look that you're probably not real happy with if you don't have enough Mod Podge. So I am putting this on very liberally, okay, so that we can make sure that we get a good tight bond between our wood and our burlap, okay? All right, I think that's pretty good. And you guys, I like to just use these little sponge brushes, and you can pick these up at Walmart, Hobby Lobby. I'm sure Michael's has them. You can pick up an entire bag of them for $4 or $5. Harbor Freight is another, I think, good place to get these. But I like them because they're very inexpensive, and if you make too big a mess, you can just throw them in the trash because literally they're pennies a piece, so it's no big deal. But for those of you that are tightwad like me, when I'm done here in a little while, I'll wash this guy and use him several more times for Mod Podge. I'm kind of picky about that. I probably won't use him on paint or stain or whatever, but he's my Mod Podge brush, and I just keep him by my Mod Podge, and that way I know that that's the brush that I use that for. Now, the next thing I want to tell you guys is if this sign were going outside, maybe even like just on the porch, I would go ahead and put another coat of Mod Podge and maybe even 2 on it. But I know I'm going to be using this inside, so I'm not going to put any more Mod Podge. And one of the reasons why is because, once again, our little frayed edge, I like that it's a little bit loose. I don't know if you probably can't tell that, but it's not just glued down tight to the board, and I like that look. If I go back over it with the Mod Podge, it's going to really stick that down and make the edges of my burlap stiff, and I don't want that. So I'm stopping right there. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put the lid back on our Mod Podge too so it doesn't dry out on me. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is use my glue gun, and I am just going to, on the back side of my word, being careful not to get it on my fingers, is I'm going to just put hot glue in a few places. You don't have to have it on the entire word, and I am purposely picking the fatter parts of my harvest word to put my hot glue on. And I'm not going to put it on the real skinny areas because I don't like the look of dried up hot glue on my projects. So I'm putting it on the fatter part so that I can make sure that it's not going to ooze out around it and have dried up hot glue all around my word. So I'm kind of picky about stuff like that. All right. Let me see here. I think I'm going to need, let's try this again. I didn't get quite enough glue. And that's the other thing, guys. When you're working with hot glue and you're doing something like this, when you're putting it on a word like I just did, it has a tendency, the hot glue has a tendency to start, I don't know, maybe drying. I don't know what the word I want to use. But it sometimes makes it hard if you take too long to put your hot glue on your word, then it's difficult to get it to stick. We've run into that a lot in my workshops too. So sometimes you have to do what I'm doing now, and I'm just going back and putting the hot glue back under the fatter areas of my word, and we're gonna hope that that works. And guys, here's another tip. When you're working with hot glue and you don't want to get burned, like I do a lot, you can use things like I'm just using my scissors to hold down where I put the hot glue. Just put pressure there for a few minutes until your glue dries. Anything would work. I could use the end of my brush, just something that you can apply pressure to the area where your hot glue is until it dries, and you won't burn your finger that way. So. And yeah, that's a School of Hard Knocks tip too. I might have burned my fingers a time or two. Okay, now that's much better. So don't get discouraged. If you put it on the back like I just did and you can tell it's not sticking good, just pick you 2 or 3 places like I just did and add a little more hot glue under those. So that part is done. Now, if you guys have seen my video from Friday night, then you know that I used this wood slice that I bought at Hobby Lobby as the base, one of the bases anyway, for the little yarn pumpkins that I did on Friday night. Well, I decided that I really like the look of the little footed trays. If you guys are on, especially Instagram right now or on Pinterest, you're seeing lots of trays of the wood slices, and they have almost like little feet under them, and it just elevates them a little bit and makes them a little more interesting looking. I decided that I wanted to add feet to the bottom of my wood slice, so I picked up, these things kind of remind me of like wooden dice, honestly, but kind of rounded off on the corners. I don't know what they're really called or for. I don't even think that they really have a name, but they're a pack of 4. They have them at Hobby Lobby on the unfinished wood aisle, and they are $4.99. I bought mine, I think they were 40% off when I got them. So I'm going to use my hot glue And I'm going to add these to the bottom of my wood slice. And once again, I'm just going to kind of stick them under here and see what kind of looks good to me. And I'm not going to get too worried about, I'm not going to measure anything, I can tell you that. So I'm just going to lift these guys up, stick some hot glue under them, hold that down for a second until I can tell that there's a good bond. And literally with hot glue, this goes very quickly. The other thing I had thought about doing and then talked myself out of it, my original plan was to use wood glue to glue these on and then use my nail gun and shoot some nails in to hold it. But then I decided, I think I'm acting like Mr. Stevens, who when he builds things, really builds things. And I'm like, that's crazy. I don't have to do all that. Hot glue, I'm pretty sure, will hold my feet on my wood slice to be used for a centerpiece. So I think I was overthinking that. So I decided to just use the hot glue gun instead. But if you guys are planning to do something like that and maybe are going to be using it outside where it would be exposed to elements or whatever, you might want to think about using the wood glue. And even if you don't have a nail gun, still use the wood glue if it's going outdoors. Because the one thing I've learned, I live in Oklahoma where it gets hot and stays hot for months at a time. If you have hot glue on something and it's outdoors, I promise you our Oklahoma heat will heat that up and it'll fall off, whatever it is. So if you're in a state that it's warm and you are going to be using this maybe out on a table on your front porch, then I would encourage you to use wood glue and not hot glue like I'm doing. But I know mine's going to just stay inside, so I'm fine just using the hot glue. All right, and you guys see, I mean, this is pretty simple. The only other thing I thought about my little feet is I didn't know if I wanted to stain them, but I thought I'm going to put them on as bare wood and then look at it and maybe even have you guys help me decide if it looks like it needs to be stained or not. But I kind of think I like them in the natural color, especially since the top of my wood slice is natural wood color. Then I think I really like it. So I may not stain those. I don't know. If I change my mind, I'll do it later. All right, guys. So what I want to do next is I'm going to add, if you guys saw the live from Friday night, I used a burlap, really wide burlap ribbon that kind of has a net look to it, like a netting, to drape over this guy and the other two, a wood board and a wood tray that I used. And tonight, instead of using that, I thought I would throw in and try some raffia. It's kind of funny because I used to use this stuff. I don't know how many of you, tell me in the comments, used to use raffia like crazy. Back in the 80s and early 90s, I had it on everything. My pumpkins, my Christmas trees, whatever. Had raffia on everything. And then I went through a long stretch here, years, that I've had raffia nowhere in my house. Because I don't know, for whatever reason, I was kind of over it. Well, for some reason this year, I'm kind of back on my raffia kick. So I don't know, they say that trends and styles come back around. So I guess for me, the style of raffia has come back around because I like this stuff. And later this week when I do my fall home tour for you guys, you're going to see that I've incorporated some raffia several different places in the house. So I'm anxious to show that with you guys. Or share that with you guys. I actually think I like this end a little bit better. So all I'm going to do is just lay my raffia up here and then I'm going to give it a haircut. All right. Once again, nothing very scientific about this, guys. So I'm literally going to try to get this out of the way so it doesn't distract you guys. And we'll look at it and see if that's enough or if we want more. And, you can let this hang over and, hang off the sides and the edges. Or you can have a more clean look, and cut that off too. I think for right now, and of course I can't even see this, but because your comments are there. So, and I'm not going to turn those off because I like seeing them. All right, so you guys will have to bear with me. Grace, remember I asked for Grace Friday night, Grace again tonight, because I'm also going to be setting this up backwards to me, but turning it so that you guys can see it. All right, so at this point we take our sign that, let's see guys, we've got 34 cents and some hot glue, Mod Podge, and burlap. I mean, I don't even know how much we've gotten this. I mean, 40 cents, I don't know. So we're gonna take our sign, have it on, and then I've got 2 little cream colored pumpkins that I also picked up at Dollar Tree. Guys, these are super cute. I had picked these up thinking that I might paint them or show you guys how to, do something different with them. Well, I like them just like they are. So I decided I'm just gonna leave them. So $1 a piece at Dollar Tree, all right? And you guys will honestly have to give me grace because I can't see what I'm doing. But I have 2 of those, and then I decided that I want one of them kind of here at the back. And so I also, in Mr. Stevens' wood shop, found this awesome little chunk of wood, like a 2x4 type wood, and I love it because do you guys see it's got this good little rusty looking patina on it? So, and you guys know I'm a fan of that, right? So of course I picked this to use. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tuck this guy back behind our sign, okay? And then 2 purposes that this serves. Number 1 is it gives us something to lean our sign against. So that's nice. And then we can also add our second pumpkin back here, and it elevates him so that he can be seen. And from here, guys, honestly, I'm gonna kind of lift this up so I can see what you guys see. All right, I think I've got it where it's good enough. At this point, you can add some more raffia if you want that. You could add some more, back here at the back. And that's one of the things that I shared Friday night that I want to reiterate again tonight. When you're doing a centerpiece for a dining room table, a kitchen island, anything that is in a area where people are going to be walking on both sides of it, don't forget that you want the back side of your centerpiece to be attractive too. So just take a look at the back and add additional raffia, or if you think you need to tuck in some, and I should have grabbed some, I didn't even think about it tonight, the little cream colored fall flowers that I used on Friday Night Live. And if you haven't seen Friday Night's Live, go watch that so you can see what I'm talking about. But you could tuck a couple of those little flowers in here too. That would be cute. Or the little miniature Indian corn that you can get this time of year, those would be super cute, and they would be short enough that you could lay 1 or 2 of those out in the front part of your centerpiece and still not cover up your harvest word. They'd be super cute on the back side, because on the back side they're not going to cover up anything. So that would be another cute thing that you could add to this, and that would bring in even just a little bit of a muted color. So the gals, those of you that like the neutral colors, they're still neutral looking enough. If you pick the Indian corn, that's the golden colors in those, would be just a little pop of color, but not over the top. So you could add that, just use your imagination, get creative, look around your home, use things you've already got. So there's your other idea for another centerpiece idea, and I would love to hear from you guys. What other things do you need help with? When it comes to your fall decorating, what are some things that you struggle with that I can see if I could come up with an idea to share with you, that I can go live and show you, just like Friday night and tonight. Now you've got 2 different ideas, both super cheap ideas for a centerpiece. And just like I told you Friday night, this could even be used on an entryway table, on your coffee table, or an end table. You could set it on the hearth on the fireplace. I mean, there is no limit to where you could use this, because this guy is compact. It's not something that's huge. It's not something that's big or overpowering. So you could literally tuck this so many different places in your home and just add that little bit of fall touch. So you guys talk to me and let me know. I'm going to see if I can see some of your ideas. Trish, thank you. I think they're cute too. And for $1 a piece, and honestly, I really bought these thinking, oh, well, I'll get them and show you guys how to dress them up and how to embellish them. Well, when I looked at them this afternoon, I'm like, I don't want to touch these guys. I love them just like they are. And for $1 a piece, I mean, you can't beat that. So I don't know about you guys, but when I look at this, I don't see something that's, super cheap, even though financially it is. So I hope this encourages you guys. that you don't have to have a big budget to make your home cozy. You can look around and use things you've already got. You can go to thrift stores. You can shop garage sales. You can make it yourself, just like we made our little sign tonight. And guys, this sign is super easy. That's the other thing I wanted to tell you. If you buy the pack of 3, you could make 3 different signs to use in your house. You could use the burlap like I used. You could use scrapbook paper and Mod Podge that on for a little bit different look. You could, let me see before that goes. Cheryl said, did you cut the wood slice? Oh, Cheryl, I'm sorry. I bought this wood slice, guys. Thank you for asking that, Cheryl. I bought it at Hobby Lobby. It was $14.99, but I think it was 30% off when I bought it, but you could use your 40% off coupon too to get this. So it's $14.99. Guys, I do this with y'all a lot. Old girl problems. I don't even know. Anyway, I don't know what else I was going to say. So, let's see. Let me ask. Connie is saying, what cordless glue gun? Oh, Connie, I'm going to drop a link in the comments to my glue gun because I've been raving about this thing for the last few weeks. I bought it a few months ago for us to use on my DIY workshops. It is my favorite glue gun ever. And I've been using glue guns for, 30 years, 35 years. This is my favorite. It's SureBonder is the brand name, and I love it because the trigger control on it is extremely good. It's very precise, and then the nozzle, the tip on the nozzle, is also allows for so much control. Is my favorite glue gun. So, and I think when I shared the link the other day, you guys helped me. Wasn't it like $15? Cheryl Bivens, if you're still on, I think it's around 15, 16 bucks. On Amazon, and you can't beat it. It is the best glue gun. So Connie, thank you for asking that too, and I'll drop that link down in the comments for you guys so that those of you that would like to order one can go grab one because they're awesome. Let me see what else. Where did you find the harvest word? Okay, Glenda, this came in a pack at Dollar Tree. There's 3 words in the pack for $1. It's harvest, welcome, and thankful. And I don't know if you just joined, Glenda, but what I was saying is if you bought the little pack of 3, you could make 3 different signs with it to use at different places in your house. That might be what I was saying when I stopped and answered Cheryl. I think it was. So you could use the burlap like I used. You could use scrapbook paper, and Mod Podge that on your wood and then hot glue your word on. You could just paint your board, whatever fall color or a cream or a gray, and then put your word on. You could do a number of different things with the other 2, but I think making signs is super cute. The other idea I shared that you might not have heard, Glenda, is if you've got, a lot of the, like the harvest bowls, the longer wood bowls, if you have something like that in your house with, say, like miniature pumpkins in it or potpourri in it or something like that, the little ornaments. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm thinking about doing a live on those. If you're a primitive style lover like me, you probably know what I'm talking about. But you basically can take a wood tray or a wood bowl and fill it with things like pine cones, and then you can make little fabric ornaments to stick in your bowls, and they're super cute. So I think I'm going to do a live on those in the next couple weeks and share some ideas. Bowl fillers, that's another word for them. So you might have seen them on Pinterest called bowl fillers. And I'm going to share some ideas to make some real simple ones. But if you had something like that, then you could just take your word and just set it in your bowl or your tray with all your little miniature pumpkins or acorns or pine cones, and it would be super cute. Used that way, I think that's a really cute use for them. So for $1 a pack, for 3 of them, you just can't beat it. They're great. So, okay, Cheryl, that's very cute. Thank you. I appreciate you, my friend. So, guys, this is a pretty cheap idea for your centerpiece. And I really do want you guys to tell me what are some other things. I love that my friend Terry asked me on Friday if I could come up with a couple of centerpiece ideas. And honestly, I don't even know if I'd have thought of that if she didn't ask for it. So you guys help me out. I want to help you in the best way I can help you is if I know what your struggle is, or I know that you've got an area in your home you're needing to decorate for fall without spending a lot of money, because you guys know I'm all about that, then let me know in the comments so that I can help you with that and see if I can get my mind going on what we can do to fix that problem area for you. So let's see. You guys are so good to me. I appreciate y'all. I really appreciate you. So if you enjoyed this little DIY tonight and you've got family or friends that you think would enjoy it, would you please tell them about the video and or tell them about my page? I would really appreciate it. And then I'm going to go back and select somebody who tells their friends about my page. I'm going to go back and send you a little something. So if you didn't join me at the first of my video, this little Bath and Body Works lotion and soap set is going in the mail tomorrow to Crystal Ladd Wilbur for telling her friends about my page. So I'll be sending something in the mail to someone else a little later this week too. So, all right, do you guys have anything else? Kathy, you're awesome. I appreciate you. You're always so good to me, girl. So thank you for sprinkling my video. I really appreciate that. So if you guys think of something else later tonight or tomorrow, just pop back on, drop it in the comments, and I'll get to work thinking of what I can do to help you prepare your home for the fall days ahead. So thank you guys again for being good to me. I appreciate it, and I'll be back on with you a little later this week, and I will give you a heads up for the fall holiday home tour that I'm going to do. So anyway, thank you guys, and y'all have a great evening. Bye-bye.